good morning to all my dear students. A new week and the old lesson. That is your lesson number 8, windstorms and cyclones. Already we have done the more than half of the lesson. Now today we'll be doing the remaining part of the lesson on page number 89. So all of you will open your books on page number 89. We'll start with 8.7 effective safety measures. In the last session, we studied about the cyclone and the destruction caused by the cyclones, the names, different names by which the cyclone is known, which is the hurricane and the typhoons, and in the different parts of the world, and how the cyclones are followed by the heavy rainfall, which causes the flood situations around the low-lying areas and in certain parts of the place where the cyclone occurs. Mostly the coastal regions are very prone to the cyclone, and the eastern part of our country is quite prone to cyclones. Then what are the measurements that we should take when the disaster occurs, like a cyclone or a typhoon occurs or a tornado is there? What all precautions you should take, or how you should keep yourself safe in such a situation. Now today we'll start with 8.7 effective safety measures. A cyclone forecast and warning service is there. Rapid communication of warnings to the government agencies, the ports, fishermen, ships, and to the general public. Now you all know that nowadays, because of the latest equipments that are present, and because with the help of the satellites, we get a lot many pictures from which we come to know that a cyclone can occur. Now a cyclone forecast and warning service. Now as you all know that the meteorological department of our country works in this direction only, that what weather will be there the next day and within a week, or if there's certain cyclone or storm conditions are there, then it forecasts earlier. That means a warning is issued by the department. Now this meteorological department gives the information to the government, which in turn distributes this information via media, via the print media and the electronic media, that is your newspapers, and print media is your newspapers. Then the news that we watch on the television, which is the electronic media, that a cyclone, that there can be a possibility of a cyclone, because the pictures that they get from those pictures, they can make out that where the clouds are gathered, or where the wind speed has increased, or where is a low pressure has developed. So in the coastal areas, that we come to know. Then rapid communications of warning to the government agencies. That means the government agencies should know that there is a possibility of a cyclone, so that they can make all the possible arrangements to help the people to evacuate from that area to the safer places, the ports and the fishermen, ships, and to the general public. Now the people living close to the sea area or the coastal areas, very close to the sea, and the people who work in the ports, and the fishermen especially who go in the seas to catch the fish, so these people are more affected by the cyclonic conditions. The first, the warnings are issued to these people, and then to the general public also, who lives a little bit away, or who lives in the cities and towns which is away from the sea, that such type of cyclone is going to occur, so then they can make a necessary things they can collect for themselves in case of an emergency, and they are alert also. Now these warnings are issued in nowadays, so it's very helpful for us also, because if the warnings on beforehand we come to know that such a situation is going to arise, then all the people are alert. The agencies working for this also are ready to manage any disaster that can happen because of the cyclone. Construction of cyclonic shelters in the cyclone prone areas, and administrative arrangements for moving people fast to the safer places. Because we get the warning, we know beforehand case this type of situation may occur, so we are ready. All the agencies, administrative agencies who makes the arrangement for the affected people in the cyclone, or the people who are going to get affected because of the cyclones, they make the temporary shelters, cyclonic shelters, to shift the people who are close to the coastal areas and to move them faster to the safer places. Now, action on the part of the people. Now, certain things are there that we should also keep in mind if such things arise. If the cyclone is there, what measures we should take so that we can safeguard ourselves. When we know that it is issued by the meteorological department, a warning has been issued, then we should do certain things to keep ourselves safe. Now, what are those things? We should not ignore the warning issued by the meteorological department through TV, radio, or the newspapers. So, first of all, we should not take it lightly, or we should not ignore that, oh, ये तो ठीक है, बोला है बारिश होगी तो देखेंगे, साइक्लोन आया तो देखेंगे, तब देखेंगे क्या करते हैं. So, we should not take it lightly. We should take it seriously and take some steps also. We should make necessary arrangements for shifting the essential household goods, domestic animals, and vehicles to the safer places. Now, we should be ready that if such emergency arises, then we are able to shift some of the household things or goods. And if you have the animals, domestic animals है, vehicles है, वो सारे को safer places में ले जाने के लिए. Avoid driving on the roads through standing water, as the floods may have damaged the roads. Now, secondly, we should not drive on the roads which are flooded with water, because we don't know where the road has been damaged or which part of the road is damaged by the flooded water. So we should not drive on that roads. If it is emergency, it's okay, but otherwise we should not. Keep ready the phone numbers of emergency services like police, fire station, and medical centers. And we should always keep some of the phone numbers ready, so that in case of emergency we can call them. Then there's some other precautions also that you have to take in case of an cyclone in the cyclone hit area. We move on to the next topic, action on the part of the people. I would like to read this box that is given here. There's some information about how we measure the wind speed. What is used to measure the wind speed? We have learned that all storms are low pressure systems. Wind speed plays an important role in the formation of the storms. It is therefore important to measure the wind speed. The instrument that measures the wind speed is called as an anemometer. There is a special instrument is used to measure the speed of the wind. As we all know, the storms are generated by the low pressures that are developed by the winds on the sea. So that is why the storms develop. And to measure the speed of the wind there, and to know more, to get the more information about the wind speed, there is an instrument which was used to measure the wind. This is called as anemometer. This is the picture of that instrument that is used to measure the wind. Now we move on to the next part, that is action on the part of the people. Now, we should not ignore the warnings that are issued by the meteorological department's TV, and we should see that all the necessary things we have collected, so that we don't have any problem in case of any emergency. If the cyclone comes, hits our city or town, so we don't have any problem if we have collected our goods and all the necessary requirements, medicines, some food. Then if there are proper arrangements that we can shift to the safer places like that. And we should keep the phone numbers ready of some important people like services like police, fire brigade, and medicals. Now, some other precautions if you are staying in a cyclone hit area. Now, there are certain areas which are completely cyclone hit. That means anytime a cyclone can hit that area, it is not necessary that at certain times only it hits, but there are certain, like the coast of Orissa here, then Andhra Pradesh is there. As I told you, they are very prone to the cyclones. So there are certain, all the time you have to take certain precautions for those areas. Do not drink water that could be contaminated. Always store drinking water for emergencies. So when a warning has been issued that a cyclone is going to hit this area, you should always store some clean drinking water for the emergency time. Do not touch wet switches and fallen power lines. That means a certain poles or the switches are there, so you should not touch that fallen power lines also, because they might be live and you might get hurt with that. Do not get go out just for the sake of fun. That means just to see what is happening, how is the situation over there, how much rainfall is there, how much water logging is there. So don't go for such purposes, stay at home only. Do not pressurize the rescue forces by making undue demands. Many a times people sometimes don't cooperate with the rescue teams that come to rescue the people who are in those areas, who are in the areas which is cyclone prone, and they are to be shifted to the safer places. But you should, on the contrary, you should help them and cooperate them with your with neighbors and your friends also. So you should cooperate, help your neighbors also and your friends also, so that they also come out of those emergencies. Now next is your advanced technology and has helped. These days there are better these days we are better protected in the early part of the last century. Coastal residents may have had less than a day to prepare or evacuate their homes from an oncoming cyclone. The world today is very different thanks to the satellite and the radars, and a cyclone alert or a cyclone watch is issued 48 hours in advance of any expected storm, and a cyclone warning is issued 24 hours in advance. Now we should thank that advanced technology that is now present, which is very helpful in making the cyclone alerts and a giving cyclone warnings. Now in the earlier times it was very difficult to protect the people or to prevent the people from getting the residents that are there to evacuate from their homes, because at that time we didn't have those facilities to know that a cyclone is going to hit this area. So beforehand we cannot make any preparations, and that used to cause a lot of loss of life and property and animals, everything. But nowadays, because of the technology, we know that a cyclone is going to come, so people can be evacuated. Then a cyclone alert is always issued, because thanks to the radars and the satellite that send the pictures to us, so we can just imagine that within an approximately, they tell that within this much of time the cyclone is going to hit this part of the this part. Now an alert is already issued 48 hours before the cyclone is going to hit. Approximately, if they think that today, suppose today is Sunday, and the cyclone is going to hit Wednesday, then they can come to know that by this time on Wednesday most probably the cyclone is going to hit this coastal area. So by that time the people are also ready. Once the warning has been issued, people are also ready with their things, and they mentally are prepared the cyclone is going to hit. So these things we should do. And if it is known that the cyclone is moving to, sometimes what happens, a cyclone changes its direction also. So many a times it happens that if the cyclone is moving towards, say, suddenly it goes it changes its direction, then too we can it is that cyclone is averted in that area, but a warning is issued that now it has changed its direction. So the loss that is going to happen with the because of the cyclone will be less. So warning is issued 24 hours in advance. So the message is broadcast every hour on and or half an hour when the cyclone is nearer at the coast. Several national and international organizations cooperate to monitor the cyclone related disasters also. So there are now because now you all know that the globe has become very small with the help of these technologies that is there. So there are many international agencies also who monitor these cyclones. Similarly, if our national agencies are there, of course, but there are also international agencies who monitor these cyclones, and they also issue the warning how much disaster or how much loss is going to happen because of these cyclones. So dear children, we come to the end of this lesson. And now what you have to write in this in the notebook is these keywords that you have to write it in your notebook 2 times, one time classwork and one time homework. All these hard words that are given here in the pink box you have to write. Now moving on to page number 92 is the blanks that are given here. Exercise blanks. Fill in the blanks with the spaces given in the sentence. Moving air is called wind. Wind is moving air. Then winds are generated due to unequal heating of the earth. Near the earth's surface, hot air rises up whereas cold air comes down. Now, air moves from a region of high pressure to the region of low pressure. Now, all these blanks you have to write it in your notebook. Then there's one question over here, question number 9. Now, question number 8 here on the same page. Which one of the following places is unlikely to be affected by a cyclone? That is your Chennai, then Mangaluru or Mangalore, Amritsar, or Puri. Now, Puri, Mangaluru, and Chennai. These are all the coastal areas close to the seas. Which Amritsar is the one which doesn't have any sea, so it is unlikely to be affected by the cyclone. Then, which of the following statement given below is correct? In winter, winds flows from land to sea to the oceans or the seas. In summer, the wind flows from land towards the ocean. A cyclone is formed by a high pressure system with very high speed winds revolving around it. The coastline of India is not vulnerable to cyclone. The first one is correct statement. In winter, the wind blows from the land to the ocean or the seas. Now, question number 8 and question number 9 also you have to write it in your notebook, and remaining question answers we will be doing from the workbook. So, dear children, till we meet with a new lesson, bye.